Good evening. Please come to order.
Recording in progress.
Welcome to the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority Special Meeting. Tonight is Thursday, December 29th, 2022. It is 5:40, and I will take roll call. Mayor Javier Moreno is here. Mayor Pro Tem Raul Ureña.
Here.
Councilmember Camilo Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Gloria Romo.
Here.
And Councilmember Gilberto Manzanares. Thank you. We do have a quorum. Call to order. Due to the declaration of emergency, this meeting is being held pursuant to AB 361, approved by Governor of California on September 16, 2021, and some or all City Council members may participate in this meeting by teleconference. Pursuant to Imperial County Public Healthcare Department guidelines, City Council meetings are now open for public attendance at 100% capacity of council chambers. Public participation will continue to be available in the following ways. Members of the public are encouraged to watch the meeting via live stream at http://communityspectrum.org live at 6 p.m. or via the Calexico City Hall Facebook page at www.facebook.com/City of Calexico CA. Members of the public will be able to make public comments in the following ways. In-person comments, submit public comments via email by 1 p.m. on Thursday, December 29, 2022, to City Clerk at email address cityclerk@calexicosca.gov or via fax to 760-768-2103. You may also make public comments via Zoom from a PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or Android device. If you want to join the webinar, the telephone number to dial is 1-669-900-6833. The webinar ID number is 879-5154-8582, and the passcode is 878743. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please have a seat. The next item is the approval of the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Camilo Garcia, second by Ms. Gloria Romo. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carried by vote. Thank you. Next item is public comments and public appearances, not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on the special agenda items only. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please say your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. And tonight we have 2 public appearances. Do we have online comments? One to read? One? Okay. So our first speaker is Alexis Castro. Yes.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Alexis Castro. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today, City Council members. I was just here to speak in support of the approval of the emergency declaration. I was actually, along with some community members, one of the folks that responded when about 20 migrants were dropped off just a couple blocks here. And to be honest, what we saw was, what we've kind of been working through the last few days has been a little shocking and a little jarring, to watch 20 people just scramble with no sense of direction in a brand new country. They don't even know where they're at, and so we tried to help them out. About 8 folks dispersed, 12 stayed there. We tried to give them direction towards access towards the neighborhood house shelter. A lot of them, didn't know who to trust. They had been in detention for months. We heard about families that, that there was reports about 6 children that showed up, hadn't had anything to eat. One of the children was ill, had to be sent to the emergency room, and then transferred to San Diego, and the mom had COVID. I actually spent yesterday trying to coordinate all day a shelter for her and her baby because they were going to release from the hospital, and the hospital was telling them that they needed to pay this exorbitant amount of money. The family doesn't know what they're doing. And so I just paint this picture because this isn't even the beginning, right? This isn't even as bad as it's going to get, right? We know that when Title 42 is lifted in February, without the lack of infrastructure, people are going to go hungry and people are going to have no place to sleep, right? And that's going to happen in our backyard. I live in just downtown, and I would hate for that to happen. And so, I just wanted to also thank, the city manager and the county for responding so quickly and being able to situate a lot of these folks and get them, also the neighborhood house for housing folks and just being so responsive. And, and I just wanted to speak in approval of the declaration. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Fernanda Vega.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Fernanda Vega, and I come on behalf of Comité Cívico del Valle, and I'm going to read a letter that we submitted to Ms. Esperanza Corley. On behalf of Comité Cívico del Valle, I am writing to express my strong support toward Calexico's decision to declare a state of emergency for the children, women, and men seeking asylum for the threat of political persecution, gang violence, and in some cases, deaths from their own home countries. These families and individuals have been released onto the streets of Calexico in a haphazard fashion and on at least one occasion completely unannounced, leaving the city of Calexico without the proper preparations or the ability to accommodate these human beings from temperatures as low as 44 degrees. The city needs help, and it's incumbent upon the state to provide that assistance with a declaration of emergency. This is a humanitarian crisis, not a political one. Governor Newsom and President Biden's administration are just administrations, and we believe they stand on the side of humanity. This letter is to lend our voices to the chorus of calls for Sacramento and Washington, D.C. to do right by the border communities and do right by these individuals who have been dropped off with no plan for shelter or food, who risk their lives and health to survive on our streets. Calexico deserves to have a fighting chance at being ready to deal with a situation it had no hand whatsoever in creating. No one in the city level decided to release families and individuals onto the streets cold and hungry, yet here we are watching Calexico try to scramble to pick up the pieces. It is our hope this declaration of emergency will have its intended effect. Calexico wants to help, but in order to do so, the city needs the states and feds help as well. This is urgent. Vulnerable populations are involved. Children are involved. Comité Cívico del Valle supports and urges the city to declare a state of emergency and seek the state's attention and support.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Daniela Flores.
Good evening, council members and members of the public. My name is Daniela Flores. I'm a community organizer with Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition. I'm here to speak in favor of this agenda item requesting that the city declares a local emergency. We have spent many years as a county and really pretending this problem's not happening, really pretending that we are not one of the 2 major border communities that have migrants that are seeking asylum, it's their right to seek asylum in this country. And so, here we are. We have pretty much kept these asylum seekers out for 2.5 years. what's going to happen now when Title 42 is lifted, then that means that all of those asylum seekers for 2.5 years are going to be at our city, in this community, in the county of Imperial. So for those that don't know, when they make their way, the issue that we're discussing here is because some asylum seekers were being released to the street directly without any assistance to make their way to their destination. All these people had somewhere in the country that they needed to travel to. So I know my time is going to be up soon, so I will say I was also one of the first responders in partnership with the city of Calexico and the county of Imperial. I really do celebrate the collaboration that took place between non-governmental organizations, between the city and between the County Department of Social Services. That is really a model to pursue, and really this declaration allows us to bring in the necessary federal and state funds to really be prepared for when the real crisis is in our city, and that's when Title 42 is lifted. So being a first responder side by side with county agents and city agency representatives, gave us a first insight look, how long it takes to allow just one person to kind of transition into their destination. So we need in the city of Calexico, the border town, and this county, but really this city, we need to be able to intake who comes here. Those 8 people that dispersed just kind of left. They were here, they had family that came for them. We have no idea who they are. These are members that came through our county and we have no idea, and so anyway, I think the city really does need the funds to create that infrastructure to be able to facilitate the intake. And the ultimate goal for these folks that are here, that will come into our community, is for them to go to another destination in the state. And so it would just exacerbate the current situation of unhoused communities, food insecurity, and all the many issues that we already have in our community. And by not addressing this and pretending it's not happening, of course we don't have the funds for it. Of course we don't have the resources for it. But you know what? We can request it by taking these bold actions. And also, the last thing I'll say, this is a broad issue. We need to look at our partners in San Diego. They have the San Diego Rapid Response Network. We need to be part of that network. We need to, and the non-governmental organizations are already reaching out to that network and really opening that regional collaboration so that we are able to have a regional borderlands rapid response team. So Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition fully commits to make this a priority and ensure that we are creating a longer term plan with the city and with the County of Imperial. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Then we have one written comment, or? Oh, okay. Anyone else?
Mayor,
Yes.
thank you. I usually don't write notes because my messages are pretty clear, but there's so much to talk about today that I did have to write some notes. So first of all, happy Merry Christmas to all of you.
Merry Christmas.
Esperanza, council members. I have a new Gabby next to me and we don't have a Carlos, but anyway, this is a very serious matter, so I'll dispense with the pleasantries that I usually start my conversations with. First off is my hats off to you for taking this bold step. My hats off to the county individuals that went above and beyond, Department of Social Services, their director, Paula Llanas, Office of Emergency Services, led by Sal Flores, and obviously the county CEO's office, led by Miguel Figueroa, who I know you know quite well. I'm saying this for a specific reason. The county's going above and beyond. It has very limited resources, monetary and personnel-wise. And we know the limitations the city has, non-existent. And I don't mean it in a demeaning way, but let's be truthful, it's non-existent. This problem is not gonna get better. It's gonna get significantly worse. And we need to be, above all, as elected officials, humane in how we treat individuals coming into our country. Whether they come here legally or illegally, we need to be very humane in how we treat these individuals. And with the limited, next to non-existent resources that we have at the local level, we need to be very proactive in what we do and how we do it. Needless to say, I support what you're doing, but I am worried about not having enough teeth to making this happen. And I don't want this to be political, because at the end of the day, if it goes to, you're going to vote for it, and it's not going to go through the county. It's going to go directly to OES at the local level, to the state of California, and the governor's office, independent of what the county does. Now, what I can commit to is bringing this under board action, depending on what you do, and getting the necessary support to drive it through at the county level as well, independent of what you do at the city level. Again, two separate things from a hierarchy perspective, let's say. But my issue here is, do we have enough teeth? Have we, and I'll use this term, have we exhausted all assets within the city of Calexico? Because that is what you need to focus upon. If you have gone above and beyond, there's nothing else that the city of Calexico can do. Have we proven that? And if we have proven that, then this should, and we have to fight for it to go through. If we cannot prove it, it will be denied. And I'll give you an example of something that we all know quite well, and that is the New River. About 2 years ago, I pushed for declaring a state of emergency. We had multiple line items, multiple bullet points justifying what we were doing, and it was denied. So again, I am fully supportive of what you're doing today. I just want to make sure that you, along with the leadership of Esperanza Collio, are fully aware of all the necessities required for you to be able to pull this off. You have my full support now, tomorrow, and any day of the week when it comes to this specific subject. But again, the issue is not sending it over. The issue is sending it over and getting it approved. Two separate matters altogether. So again, whatever you decide today, you are 100% in support, but I just want to make sure that we don't just send it, but it gets approved. Lastly, and I've been speaking to Esperanza a couple times over this issue. Again, this is not nothing new for her or for me, unfortunately. This has been going on, and with COVID, it was worse. It was much worse. Because, o sea, te trataban como trapo. ¿Por qué? Porque la excusa de COVID. Ay, tienes COVID. O sea, era muy inhumano. Is the communication getting better? Yes. Are we where we want to be? No. Is the communication with CBP, specifically Border Patrol, better? Yes. Is the communication with Highway Patrol better? Yes. Is the communication with the department previously known as ICE better? It's getting better, but it's nowhere near where it needs to be. And that's where the open lines of communication in a very timely fashion need to come through. So what I spoke to Esperanza is something that we need to band together on, and that is, independent of what you decide to do today, a letter signed by all 5 of you that I will bring up at the Board of Supervisors as well, signed by all 5 of us, is that we basically force the hand of our elected officials at the federal level, Senator Feinstein's office, Senator Padilla's office, Representative Reese, and Representative Vargas, because even though he doesn't represent us, he represents San Diego County, specifically southern San Diego County, that obviously has the entire San Diego County border region. And what is the specific ask? That these lines of communication be open and be timely so that we can be as best prepared as possible. Because a 5-minute phone call, and by the time Esperanza gets the call and somebody else gets the call, you've got 20 people in XYZ. It may be Friendship Park, it might be at the Transit Center on 3rd Street, it might be at Heber Park, because at the end of the day, there's no structure to this. With open and timely lines of communication, we will have structure, and we will request and force structure to this to make it more humane. So again, independent of what we decide today or what you decide today, you have my full support. And I encourage you to write a letter that we are going to prepare, and we're more than happy to share it with you, signed by all 5 of you, really demanding that the lines of communication be open and timely concerning these migrant issues. With that, if you want to ask me any questions, I'm happy to do so. But again, I just want to make sure that what is decided today does have the necessary oomph, teeth, estructura, pónganle la palabra que quieran, para pasar. No la manden, el mandarla está fácil. Que pase, eso es lo importante. Que hagan una diferencia a nivel estatal para este problema. Que no se convierta en un tema político, porque queremos acciones, no política. Queremos acciones. Gracias.
And anybody else? No? So the discussion and potential action items. Adopt resolution of City Council of City of Calexico proclaiming the existence of a local emergency. And I.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion was made by Mr. Ureña, second by Ms. Romo. Any discussion? Yeah, roll call, please. Yes.
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 Thank you. Motion carried 5-0. And I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved by Mr. Garcia, second by Ms. Romo. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.